What is going on, everybody? Kumusta kayong lahat mula sa Luzon, Visayas, at Mindanao, or wherever the heck you are on the planet? This is your one and only JOAT, the place to be for any niche, every genre, or all generations. Who is your master of ceremony,
D to the E to the LRO,
aka,
JDR,
aka?
the extraordinary introvert. So, guys, before we start, look at Curry, man. So inspirational. Ain't he inspirational, guys? And to all the Laker fans watching, yo, I'm sorry if my Warriors beat y'all early this week. Steph didn't mean to do it, do y'all dirty, but it is what it is. But guys, this episode is far. It's not gonna be about Steph. In fact, far from it. But it's going to be about one of his contemporaries, or he was one of his contemporaries, and it's so sad that we're using past tense because, as you guys know, it's been a year. Well, not today, but once I record or once I upload this on YouTube, Spotify, and wherever, it would have been today would have marked the first year anniversary of the Black Mamba's passing. So I know it's been so long, like 300 something days already, but it still hasn't sunk in yet. I'm still not over it. I'm sure my guest over here is not over it, and I'm sure millions of followers, whether haters or fans, they're not over it as well. So while it is sad that Kobe Bryant is not with us here anymore, we can't be sad forever. So we gotta just continue to live our lives and just live it well. And we also have to continue celebrating uh, his life, and let's also not forget his beautiful daughter Gianna and the seven other passengers, the Altobelli family, the Chester family, Christina Mauser, and Ara Zobayan. These nine beautiful souls will never be forgotten for sure. And may you all rest in peace wherever you may be. So, this episode is going to be special. You know why? Because uh, we were lucky enough to guest not just one of my good friends back in grade school and college, but a diehard Kobe fan. So, this episode is going to be very complete because we have a Kobe fan over here and we have a super Kobe hater in me, or just a Laker hater in general. But it just shows you how complete, how uh, diverse this episode is going to be. So without further ado, let's give it up for my guy, Gabe Santos, everyone. What's up, Gabe?
Hey, what's up, Jake? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's been a while also, with the whole pandemic and new normal. So it's good, it's funny, like before we really get into it, it's been 10 years since we graduated grade school. Do you believe it?
Yeah, no, like that's crazy, dude. Like to think that it's been 10 years, like a full-on decade.
For sure, for
It
sure.
literally it feels like it was just yesterday.
Exactly, dude, exactly. And it's great that everything comes in full circle. 10 years later, we're back here again. Talk about
Yeah.
one of the things we love the most. And by the way, guys, before we continue, we just want to give a special shout out to our grade 7 moderator. I'm not sure if you still remember him, Gabe, but I know I do. So shout out
Yes,
to
of course.
Sir.
Mr. Delorio.
Yes, shout out to Sir Robbie Celorio. He's part of our group, by the way, our FB group. So, sir, wherever you are, kamusta po kayo? Hopefully, you're doing well. Hopefully, you and your family are just staying safe always. And we would not be the men that we are today without your support, without your guidance, and without your wisdom. Uh, all those lessons that you taught us back in grade 7, like we carry those for life. So I guess now's your chance, Gabe, to give Sir a shout out over here. So
Yeah,
yeah,
of course. Like, sir, if you're watching, hoping you remember me, but I'll never forget you, as what Jake mentioned, because you were really a big part of our lives, especially back in grade 7. Like a very good mentor, and a very good friend as well, especially with all your commands. If you remember
Yes,
that, Jake.
yes, yes. I sure do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Very,
yeah,
very meticulous. Very, very meticulous. If you
indeed.
think he would have done Kobe proud, because you know how Kobe's so obsessive with the details and stuff. That was pretty much
Exactly.
Sir Solorio back in his
Exactly.
prime.
Indeed.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. So enough of the shout outs, enough of all that stuff. Enough going back to memory lane. Although we'll be doing that a lot uh, in this episode, but I guess let's wag na natin i-delay. Let's get to it. So, of course, as with everyone, January 26, 2020, you'd think the moment you wake up is just an ordinary day. Picture yourself. We just gone over Taal. We just had, Australia
Mhm.
wildfires. Basically, January was still young, but there were so many things going on around the world. Of course, that was the start of, the Ro. Of course, you can't say what it is live because it might get flagged and stuff. But you know what I'm talking about already.
Of course.
But to me, and I mentioned this in one of my episodes in season one, the new normal really began on January 26, 2020, because we were all caught by surprise when we heard the news on Twitter, on Google, or just everywhere online that Kobe Bean Bryant passed away at the age of 41 along with 8 other passengers, including his daughter, along the hills of Calabasas in Orange County, California. So, Gabe, uh, take me through it again. What were your initial reactions the moment you got that beep, you got that notification online? What were your initial thoughts? Even though we all
Mhm.
know what they're gonna be, but I'd like for you to uh, take it back to that
Mhm.
very, very horrific day in January of the horrific year that was 2020.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess a little bit of backstory. Like January for me was January 2020 for me wasn't really the best time because
Mm.
um early January, like around mga Jan 1, 2, I actually got dengue.
Oh no.
Yeah. So um I was there for couple of days, and then at that point when the passing of Kobe happened, it was like when I was just recuperating and I had just gone through a lot and everything.
Mm.
And like you said, a lot of things are happening all around us. And it's like I guess sometimes you don't expect things when it's going bad. It's like things can't get any worse than it already is, right?
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
right, it's like that's what you think. But and then like what happened to me on that day was I was still sleeping, and then suddenly my mom like she goes inside my room, like she starts like patting my leg and waking me up and everything, and then she just went straight up and she was like watch CNN, watch CNN because Kobe Bryant died. I was like, no, no, that must be a hoax. That must be a
Mm.
joke, right?
Mm.
And when you're like groggy, I was so sleepy, pa. She
Yeah,
had just
yeah.
woken me up. So I was like, no, no, like you're lying, you're lying. Then I kind of closed my eyes again. I'm like, you're lying. And then she turns on the TV on my room. And then when I'm just laying in bed, I actually hear it. I hear the news and I was like, no, this can't be possible.
Mm-hmm.
And then I see it. I see it for myself. I see the helicopter crash site and everything. And I'm like, no, no, no. It's like, when you
Yeah.
feel like someone's going to live forever, right?
Exactly, exactly.
And especially like one of your idols. And I know, like, of course, you're a diehard Warrior fan, and I know you're a Kobe or Laker hater, but, as a fan of the sport, I'm sure you respected him greatly.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And,
We'll get to that later for sure. But yeah, go on.
oh, yeah, yeah. But yeah, anyway, those are my initial reactions. Like, along with the rest of the world, like, I couldn't believe it. Like, is this real? No, no. And then there, like, when I saw it for my own eyes, I just burst into tears, like, no holding back. I was like, man, one of my idols growing up and idols in life just passed away, like, so early in his life. Like, he
Mm-hmm.
had just retired a few years prior. He was just enjoying life, and he had so much, so much ahead of him, so many years ahead of him. And I was like, man, it's just tragic, man. That's all you can say. Especially Gianna and all the others on the helicopter that passed away as well. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's for sure. And that's why earlier on I wanted to give a special shout out to all the other passengers because Kobe is Kobe. He's a very prominent figure, not just in basketball, but just anywhere in all walks of life. But at the same time, those eight other lives are equally as important as Kobe's. So I did not really,
Indeed.
it didn't sit well with me when you see headlines na Kobe, Jana, seven others. Those are not the seven others, dude. Like, that's
Yes.
seven precious, valuable lives, and they have loved ones, they have friends. Like, it just doesn't sit well with me at all that they were just put to the
Yeah.
side by some media outlets. So that's why we
Yeah.
have to pay each and every single victim their respects because they also like touch the lives of their own loved
Yeah.
ones, friends, and all that.
Agree. Yeah.
hmm So yeah, thanks for sharing with me what went down on the 26th for you.
Yeah.
It was a crazy day, and I guess I'll share mine as well. So, as you all know, January that pretty much set the tone for what 2020 was gonna look like, and for me, naman, I was just getting ready to try my luck because I'd been applying for different work and all that, and actually that was the day before, like I was filing up my resume and all of that, sending an application here and there. So you'd think na after all the stuff that happened weeks prior, maybe this is gonna be the plot twist. Maybe I'm gonna turn things around. And then the morning of January 26th, usually the first thing I do, and this is a bad habit that I must stop doing, I check IG, Twitter, and all that. The first post I see on IG is House of Highlights. I'm sure we all follow House of Highlights for all the basketball fans. The first
Oh
thing I
yeah.
see
Definitely.
is RIP Gigi Bryant. I'm like, dude, what happened? She's so healthy. How can she get sick at such a young age and all that, right? She's this young prodigy that's looking to take women's basketball by storm. How could this be? How could she have died? And then I got a notification from my cousin who lives in New York, and he was like, "Yo, Kobe died." And I'm like, "Are you serious, dude?" So I check on Twitter and all that, and then true enough, everyone's favorite source, TMZ, they post the site and all, and I'm like, this has got to be 100% joke. TMZ, they're not trustworthy and all that. So I continue trying to deny it, and then you're seeing athletes and popular figures sharing how they feel, from the likes of Donovan Mitchell, Tom Brady posted, I think Justin Timberlake posted, of course my guy Steph posted. So, as the denial was there, I think it was becoming real and real by the day that Kobe did die. And, as much as Kobe's death is heartbreaking, and it is, like, you're not human if you're not shaken to your core by what happened. For me personally, I feel like Gigi's death was more painful for me because while Kobe 41 is a young age to die, like he had his whole life, I was so looking forward to what he had to bring to the table outside of basketball and towards retirement. Yo, Gigi was just starting out, like 13 years old.
Yeah.
She was
True.
killing
Yeah.
it in her dad's rec league.
Yeah.
WNBA scouts were starting to, recruit her. I think
Yeah.
her dream school, UConn, I think.
Uh-huh.
They were already in talks of signing her that year, or of course
Yeah.
years after.
Yeah.
So,
And she would have carried the Bryant name, dude.
oh yeah, I
Like
was so
she
looking
really
forward.
was. She was in the process of walking the footsteps of her dad.
Yeah, I was so looking forward to not to see her carry her dad's name, but to just step out of her dad's shadow. Because how
Yeah.
when family members have other family members being in the NBA or just any league, usually they're overshadowed by the other name, by the bigger name. But I was so looking forward to see Gigi, carve her own path, and the fact that we're not
Yeah.
going to be able to see it ever, I think that's what's more heartbreaking to me. But yeah, I think
Yeah. That's
Kobe's death, obviously, it doesn't sit well with me. Especially now in this quarantine, they're just random nights where I just think about Kobe randomly. And this is coming from
yeah.
someone who's not really fond of Kobe or the Lakers. Like, I just
Yeah.
think about him on random nights, and it's hard to explain. It's as if he never really
Yeah.
died. His presence is still here.
Yeah. very much strong, dude. All
Oh yeah,
over the world.
for sure. Do you get that too though? Like a lot? Because I know me, I'm not the biggest Laker fan, right? But I'm sure for
Yeah.
you, a diehard, do you think about him every day? And Kyrie just came out with a statement that I think about Kobe every single night. Like, have you reached that level? Nah, you're in complete denial, pa rin, even though it's been like a whole year.
Well, I guess for me, uh, how maybe yes and no. Like, there are some times where I do feel like that. Like, I just think to myself randomly, um, when you just see random videos on YouTube, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, how the algorithm uh stays the same. Like when you watch one video, it's gonna suggest a lot more videos. And there are just random days where I just want to watch Kobe videos, Kobe highlights, even though I've
Yeah,
watched the video already. Like on YouTube, like on the bottom of the video, there's already a red line to show that you watched it, right?
yeah,
But then it's like I'm just gonna watch it again.
yeah, yeah,
So
for sure.
yeah, so that I do have nights like that. But for me, I guess it wouldn't be every day. So
Mm,
that's why I said yes, yes and no. Because although I do have nights like that, like exactly what you just pointed out, like what you just said, that
yeah.
his presence or his footprint that he left, not just in the world of basketball, but culturally and throughout all the aspects of life, like it's so strong
Mm-hmm.
and it's so present that I there's also a part of me that feels like he never really left. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, yeah, that's how I feel. Some days I do really think about Kobe and what he could have accomplished post basketball career, but then other
Mm-hmm.
days it's like I feel like he hasn't even gone because he's still everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I think of all the Kobe murals and all the graffiti that you see, I think the one in BGC really stands out. The the tenement, like
Yeah,
the day
yeah,
after, and on 224, like when they painted a mural of Kobe and Gigi, like yo, that's some dope stuff
yeah, dude,
right there.
definitely.
Wow, that's a
It's
lot.
it's crazy.
Yeah, so many insights, and like we're barely 20 minutes in, but
Scratching the surface. I'm sure.
yeah, but that's what Kobe can do to you, like. And that's crazy because you mentioned nga, that Kobe's not just a basketball icon, but he's in every niche, as this podcast is. And believe it or
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
my podcast was pretty much inspired by Kobe's concept because how this or my themes tend to change from episode to episode.
Yeah.
And usually the golden rule of podcasters is to stick to one niche just to entice your listeners. But me, I'm a rebel. I don't want to conform to society, and Kobe was the same. He did not want to just stick
Yeah.
to basketball his whole life. Of course, he was there. Like he trained Gigi, and he trained the other athletes today, like from Jason Tatum to
Yeah.
the Mitchells of the world and all that. But Kobe was a writer, he was a poet, he was a director, he was even an actor. Basically, in
Yeah,
any and
definitely.
every niche. He was an entrepreneur, he was a
Yeah.
financial advisor.
And
So,
how he also mentioned that when he was asked like if you had the opportunity to go back to the NBA, would you? And he actually said no. Like if you remember that.
mhm.
Like he said no because no, like I want to enjoy my life outside of basketball.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
yeah, like it actually took me by surprise. I was like, wow, like he said no. I expected him to say yes because like if you're to play in his prime again, if you're to just feel the feeling of winning a championship again. But then he
Mm,
just straight out said no, like without even like thinking about it. If you had the chance to go back, would you? No, like straight
mhm.
up. And then I was like, wow, yeah, it really shows you that, of course, like in the realm of basketball, he was just focused on it, but he was more than that. Like what we're talking about. He's more than just a basketball icon.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's definitely right. And, shout out to Kobe, like and this is like you said mentioned earlier, like I'm not the biggest fan of Kobe, but without
Hmm.
without him, I would not have been inspired to get out of my shell uh, last year, yeah, mid last year, and create this
Yeah.
podcast. And it's funny because on off air, while we were preparing and stuff, Gabe was like, I'm really surprised that you started this podcast because, this dude over here, super quiet, super mahiya, and barely opens his mouth all throughout school, and here he is, super dal and all. Like you
Yeah.
think complete 180, right? But no, I think it's just me trying other things. With this quarantine, we don't know how long this is gonna be, so might as well make the most of all the resources and just do stuff that I've been wanting to do. Believe it or not.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Happy to be here, dude. Happy to be here.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, by the way, this is a live, by the way, guys. So if you want to join in on the conversation, please do share your comments. Uh, let's talk. Let's chat. And I know a lot of you guys hate my Warriors, especially back when we were ruining the league, pre and during the KD years. So this is your chance to get back at me. Like I said, we welcome haters here. Pero yun nga lang, wag na lang kayo magmura and all that. But if you guys want to come at me, now's your chance to do it. If you want to go out here say, Curry's trash and all that, now's your chance to do it. So, shout out to my fans, but also shout out to my haters because y'all drive the show. Yep, not just the fans, but more so the haters and the critics. How about you, Gabe? Do you have any early shout outs before we continue on with this EP? Usually we save those for last, but I figured trying to mix up the stuff and all and try to
Uh-huh.
invite, our listeners on FB to check out our episode over here.
Yeah. Well, I guess same with you. It's the same in the sense that uh, we're gonna be talking about Kobe. We're gonna be talking about basketball here, but I welcome it's like all people to like come and tune in. Even let's say the Laker haters out there or
Yeah.
fellow Laker lovers. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And like I know what you mean. Like when you're talking about, it's really just you welcome both, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
both have the potential to drive you to push yourself to be a better person.
Oh yeah. That's for sure.
Yeah, so like shout out to anyone else who may want to join in or just comment and just put up some friendly banter or
Yeah.
trash talk.
Yep.
I
Yep.
mean, like if there's one golden rule I believe there is in being a sports fan is like trash talking is fine.
Oh
Like
yeah.
of course as long as you don't go personal,
Overboard. Yep.
yeah, overboard. You don't go overboard on the personal level. But if you're just talking nonsense and you're just like spitting out like Curry trash, Kobe trash, Lakers trash, Warriors trash,
Mm-hmm.
I mean it's normal. And like when you trash talk, it's really like a give and take. Like
Yeah.
if if you can give out the trash talk, and you better know how to take it
Oh
also.
yeah.
You know
Oh
what I mean?
yeah.
Like like I let's say like in this season that just ended in the NBA, the bubble season, it's like I'm pretty sure you would see me tweet about the Lakers and I'd see you tweet about the Warriors and everything.
Yep. Yep.
And yeah, dude, and it's like I just see it. Like I see you trash talking the Lakers and LeBron, and that's fine because it's
Oh
part
yeah.
of sports, man.
Oh yeah.
It's
For sure.
definitely part of sports. And it's like there was a point also where I was very like that against your Warriors as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like especially during the KD era, man. That was
Yeah.
dude, like
FKD,
I
right?
dude, he's really that guy that man, you just can't hate him because he's just like a god in
Yeah.
basketball.
For sure.
But I remember like hating so much on your team and just trash talking them endlessly on Twitter, especially when you guys were just winning everything. And I was like, man, like I know the Lakers have been sucking lately. Like this is my like 2016, 17, you know
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So the Lakers weren't doing good, so I didn't really expect anything. It's like, man, I know the Lakers aren't doing that good,
Mm-hmm.
but these guys are just taking the league by storm, and it's annoying.
Oh yeah, for sure. And yeah, I mean, I was part of the trash talk. Like 2016 when we were 73 and 9, like I was trash talking the hell out of everyone, especially those who were coming at my team. And then of course, 3-1 happened and I'm still not
Oof.
over that, and people came for my ass, dude. Like, they took,
Yeah,
they had time.
but I mean, like I said, it's really just a give and take.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
sure
for sure, for
like
sure,
if you can spit it out, you better be able to take it.
for sure.
It's kind of like if you recall, see like randomly like off the top of my head, Patrick Beverly.
Yeah,
Like you know how he's like one of the biggest trash talkers in the league.
for
Like
sure.
he can be really annoying, right?
Hmm.
But then it's like when he was asked, I think on his IG live or something, like, how do you feel about blowing the 3-1 lead to the Nuggets and everything? And he was
Yeah,
like, like we choked, and I take it because if you can spit it out, you better be able to take the hit. And I
for
was like,
sure, for sure.
that's how it's got to be, dude. Like respect.
Oh yeah,
So,
definitely, definitely. It's all about, taking it like a man. Just
yeah,
manning up and backing up that dog. But yeah, good stuff
exactly.
right there. So yeah, once again, haters are welcome here, fans are welcome here. The other day is just having fun and doing what we do best. All right. So I know we went way off topic, and that's just an excuse because I needed to check my stream if our audios are working, but thankfully it is. So please do comment if you're experiencing any difficulties, if we're all of a suddenly muting and stuff. Maybe Gabe over here can check our stream right now. Maybe can double check uh, if the stream is up and running. But when I was glancing over a little bit, it's fine. Like I said, I'm very new to this FB Live setup, so everything is just trial and error. But so far, we're having a really good conversation over here, and let's just keep at it. All right. So now that we were able to get over or talk about Kobe and just how to deal with haters in general, let's go back to Kobe. So, for you, Gabe, what are some of your favorite Kobe Bryant memories? They can be one of the 5 rings. They can be 81 points. And you know what's funny? Like yesterday, January 22, that was actually the 15th year anniversary of Kobe's iconic 81-point game. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy, dude.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so of course, if you're gonna ask like someone who's a diehard Laker fan ever since what I think dating back to about 2005, if I
Hmm.
can recall, like when I was such a young boy. So, yeah, of course, the mainstream favorites of people would be 81 points,
Hmm.
or even like I would say one of my favorites would be the 60-point game in his last game, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But personally, for me, I feel like one of my favorite moments was back in 2006
Hmm.
against the Phoenix Suns.
Mm.
And if you remember, like he hit a game winner against them.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it was the quarterfinals, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And then, but that was the one where he got his jersey and he was like, "Woo!"
Yeah,
Like,
that was
yeah,
iconic.
yeah, yeah, right? Yeah. And I don't know, it's just like every time I see that, or it's like I see the context of that, I see anything about it, it's like it just gets me so hyped. It gives me goosebumps.
Hmm.
And because it's like you can see or you can feel the ferocity of Kobe, you can feel his passion.
Hmm.
And ever since I just saw that when I was younger, I was like, wow, it's like this guy is a disciple of the game,
Oh yeah.
and he works so hard to aim for his goals.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, unfortunately, in the quarterfinals, the Lakers went up 3-1, but we blew the 3-1 lead
Yeah.
to the Suns.
Hmm.
So yeah, we lost there. But yeah, that's why I guess it's I would say it's a more low key memory of Kobe, because I guess there are a lot more Laker fans who want to forget it
Hmm.
because we lost the quarterfinals there. Like we were up 3-1,
Yeah.
but we lost to the then back to back MVP Steve Nash,
Hmm.
beating the Suns. And yeah, I guess a lot of people want to forget it or tend to forget it, but for me that was one of the most iconic Kobe moments.
Yeah, definitely. You can't forget that game winner. And
Yeah.
at least, if there's one thing Kobe and Steph have in common, they blew a 3-1 lead. So if there's
Okay, that's
so
that's true.
at least, it makes you feel a better. Although, given the context, ours was worse because NBA finals and all
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah, and I guess I mean like not the add salt to the wound, but it's just objectively speaking. I guess what hurt is you guys had a 73-9
Yeah,
season.
yeah.
Like, man, I didn't think it was possible to beat the 72-10 Bulls. Yeah, but I mean, anyway, that's all water under the bridge.
That's for sure. That's for sure right there. Um, so yeah, thanks for sharing that. Yes, at the jersey strip or whatever you call that,
Yeah,
that's like one of my favorite lasting images of Kobe, and it just personifies, his drive for the game, his dedication.
definitely.
And I'll have to correct you a little bit. You said he was a disciple of the game. He's not because he's just a basketball god. Period.
He's not a disciple. Yeah, yeah.
He's a god. Hmm.
I like that. I like that correction.
As for me, there's quite a lot, but I guess there are two. There are two moments that I'll never forget. Uh, this one dates back to 2010, so I'm sure I'm headed here. There's the 2010 finals,
Mm-hmm.
Game 7. I'm sure you remember where you and I were at the time. We were in school, and
School, grade 7. Yeah,
social media was different, and sa Ateneo, bawal mag-cellphone, no? So we just had to
of
rely
course.
on, kind teachers who would give us updates of the game. We didn't have monitors, we didn't have TVs and all that.
Yeah, or like when you got home now from school.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And I remember Sir Celorio, who we gave a shout out earlier on. I know he was pulling for the Celtics. I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure he did not want the Lakers to
Yeah,
win that year.
that's what I remember too. That's what I remember too.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So he was giving us updates, and usually Fridays the interims day, right? So
yeah,
I think the update or the constant updates was, oh, Boston leading by this much, Boston leading by 11, Boston leading by 7. So at the back of my head, I'm like, yes, the Celtics are winning, because I just really hated the Lakers, man.
yeah.
I,
No, I get it.
like
I get it.
I wasn't a fan of any particular team yet before the Warriors came around, but dude, I just did not like the Lakers so much.
Yeah,
Like every time Kobe does his mean stare, I'm like, I remember just punching the TV screen back then. That's how much I hated the
yeah, yeah.
man, dude.
So, like, I mean, if you don't mind me asking, like, why? Well, like, what was your concrete reason?
Well, for me, he's everything you don't want in a basketball player. Selfish. I think that was why
Mm,
he was super selfish, not a team player. At
yeah,
least back in
okay.
the time, he had a huge ego.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I super get that.
So,
Like, I mean, I may be a diehard, but like you recognize those things,
oh yeah.
right? So I get that. I super get that.
Hmm. So when the final score was finally announced that the Lakers won, I was so down. Like I felt so bad because I just didn't want to see your team succeed so much. And I remember half the classroom was jumping up and down, and then you have poor Sir Salorio was like, GG. Yeah,
GG,
good game.
GGWP.
Yep. But yeah, I'll never forget that because the thrill of uh, begging for updates because social media wasn't around and bawal magphone. So the fact that we had to do it old school,
Yeah,
just hear rumors, whispers, and all of that. It's what made it school fun.
yeah,
Believe it or not.
definitely, definitely.
So yeah,
I
I'll
mean,
never forget.
even if yeah,
Oh,
and yeah, no, I was just gonna say like even if we didn't have like social media as it is today, it's like I don't know, like it's some kind of a thrill, right?
yeah,
Like
exactly.
yeah, like because yeah, I mean, of course, on social media you can get the news right away, but it's like back then when we were kids, it was like the thrill. We'd be asking Mr. Celorio, sir, what's the score, sir, what's the score? You know
Yes.
what I mean? So, like that was really that was fun. Like that
Yeah.
was a nice aspect of it.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah. So to all you Gen Zers and millennials out there, you missed out on a golden era that Gabe and I was lucky to be a part of.
definitely.
Yep. So Game 7 2010, not because I was able to watch it on TV, but just the thrill of hearing outside sources, try to that was actually the OG fake news. Like if you think about it, because she'd give fake scores just to make you more
yeah.
nervous and all that. Like fake news was
Yeah,
actually a
yeah.
thing back then. We just didn't know it.
Yeah. We just didn't know it, yeah. But it wasn't like as prolific and it wasn't used for dangerous means, you know
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean?
oh yeah. It was
Like
just
it was just for sports, man. It
mhm.
wasn't it wasn't how it's used now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun to look back into. So, hopefully once makabalik tayo from the new normal, the thrill of knowing the scores and just trying to figure out if the score is real or not, hopefully it comes back, you know,
Yeah.
because
And you know what we can hope for is something like Western Conference Finals. Dubs versus
yeah,
Lakers.
Lake Show against Dub Nation.
Yeah. And we just be like spewing trash talk at each other. But
Oh yeah,
all in good faith, right?
that's for sure.
Like
That's for sure.
just for fun, yeah.
So that's one of my favorite moments with Kobe Bryant. Obviously, as the years went on, I gained a lot of respect for Kobe. The hate was still there, but I just respected the man's grind, his passion, dedication, and his no nonsense approach. Because you know how these days the athletes, the stars, would like show off their drip on IG or just walk around the
Yeah.
hall with their Gucci bags and their Pradas and all that, and their off whites. Kobe, he had style though. I'll give you that. Kobe was very stylish, but he didn't really brag about it. He wouldn't post it on IG. He'd keep that stuff to himself. So I just wanted to point
Yeah.
that out. How Kobe was fashionable, but he never bragged about it on SocMed. But
Yeah.
this season, oh yeah, go. Sorry.
Yeah, no. It's fine. No, I was just gonna mention it. It's like he was, I guess you could call like he was a little mellowed down
Oh yeah.
Kawhi in a
Oh
sense
yeah, yeah,
of,
yeah.
of, of social media, right? Because you know how Kawhi is like absolutely zero. Like
Yes, yes.
he's not on social media. He doesn't even like talking to the media, right?
Yep.
And I'd feel like I'd say Kobe is like that in between of the typical NBA player now, which is let's say someone like off the top of my head, like what you just mentioned, like posting all the time is like what let's say like Russell Westbrook. Like I'm not saying it's bad,
Mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm.
But you know what I mean. He's very active on social media and everything. And then you have the opposite end of the spectrum, who's like Kawhi Leonard. I feel
Yeah.
like Kobe was like, he was just chilling in the middle, right? He's
Mm-hmm.
just there. It's like, of course, he had style. He wasn't square. He
Yeah.
wasn't just like no offense. I don't mean this as an offense, okay? But he wasn't like Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan was just simple, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Like he wasn't like that, naman. Na he'd be wearing those baggy jeans and
Yeah.
sneakers, and yeah, he had style, but he was just very low key, like you
Oh
said.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, fashion was just different back then, but Kobe's drip, his aesthetic was on point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and not to mention the swagger that he brought with it.
Oh yeah.
Like sometimes he could just be wearing his warm up uniform or whatever, but like his swagger, his confidence, his drive, yeah, his ferocity, you can just feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For sure. Anyways, let's leave me now to my next moment, and yeah, sorry for
Yeah,
the
yeah.
little uh, disruption in the flow, but I just wanted to point out Kobe's style because he
Yeah.
was so stylish back in the day. But the second moment over here has something to do with my guy Steph Chef. Look at Curry, man. Yep. So
So
obviously,
inspirational.
very inspirational indeed. But if you remember, this is actually a 2-for-1 because both these moments uh, have to do with Warrior moments as well. So if you
Mm-hmm.
guys know 2013, that was the last great year of prime Kobe Bryant. So
Mm-hmm.
sorry for all the Laker fans who don't want to remember, but that was when Kobe ruptured his Achilles, and I'll never forget that game because I think the Warriors didn't need to win that because we already had a playoff spot, but the Lakers were still scrapping for a playoff spot.
Yeah.
But the fact that Kobe on a ruptured Achilles, which is like the kiss of death, of every NBA athlete. The moment you mess up your Achilles, you're pretty much done for.
Yeah.
Kobe walks back up and makes both free throws. It's one thing to stand up and shoot both free throws, but it's a whole nother to actually make both as if nothing happened. So
Yeah.
shout out to Kobe for that. Mad respect. And I think that was the day where I literally stopped hating on Kobe because the amount of willpower it takes to actually even get up from such a devastating injury like that, it's already more than three-fourths of the battle won. But the fact that Kobe took it another level by sinking both free throws, pa, wow. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know what to
definitely.
say anymore about that.
Yeah, like it's crazy. Like you'd feel like, wow, a person's capable of that, like doing that under those circumstances. It's like, wow, must be an extraordinary person.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like only superheroes of fictional worlds could pull off something like that.
Yeah, like nothing happened, like you said. Like, wow, it's
Mhm.
crazy.
And before I go to the next moment, it's also funny also that I mentioned. Mind if I mention this? Like
You
every
go
Kobe
ahead.
Bryant, every Kobe Bryant iconic moment, we're all at the free throw line. Like his first points was at the free throw line. Uh,
Yep,
I think the 2000 finals, he sunk the dagger free throws, to win the
yep,
first ring. His 81st point free throw line.
yep,
Uh, the game 7 against Boston free throw line.
yep.
2013 Achilles free throw line.
Free throw.
Passing Jordan free throw line.
Yep,
And then of course his last point ever free throw line as well.
free throw line. Yeah, yeah. It's funny that you mentioned that because I actually saw that. Like, I saw that statistic or I saw that observation on Twitter. You know how Twitter, it's like a lot of times you just see random tweets of
Yeah, yeah.
people like you don't even know, right? And it's like I'm sure you get a lot of this or you see a lot of this, and Twitter is just like a void of nonsense sometimes, right?
For sure, for sure.
Right? Like, for example, like, you know how there are random accounts that mga burner accounts that people make just to trash talk, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, so it's like I would see that there was this one tweet saying that a lot of Kobe's accomplishments or big time moments happened at the free throw line.
Yeah.
And then, so that was the initial tweet, right? But then under it were like a bunch of burner accounts, as usual for Twitter, saying that it's like, oh, he's not a real player. Wow, okay, he achieved these by shooting free throws. Wow,
Oh,
yung mga ganun. And it's like,
bruh.
I don't know. It's like I'm at the point now when I see stuff like that, it's like you just don't mind it. Like you just laugh it off, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I'm sure, like from your point of view, also, like,
Oh yeah.
uh, like you get a lot of hate, being a Warriors fan, of
Oh
course,
yeah. Oh yeah.
and it's like I'm pretty sure there's a lot of Warriors hate on Twitter also. That's so like
Yeah.
baseless. You know what I mean? Like, okay, like saan ang galing yun?
Uh-huh.
It's like yung mga ganon.
Hmm.
And it's like you feel like, why is this even an argument? And yeah, it's like random lah. Like, I just wanted to mention, like,
For sure, for
because
sure.
you brought that up, and I was like, okay, what is this burner account saying? So okay, he got a lot of his iconic moments on the free throw line. Okay, why does that make him any less of a basketball player? It's like, okay, what logic do you have?
Hmm.
Just laugh at it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted to share.
And
But
no, the
yeah,
best part about those, they instantly get ratioed, Like they're gonna get ratioed by a knowledgeable sports fan.
indeed,
Like that's the
yeah,
consolation right there.
yeah,
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, while the free throw line Achilles free throws were epic, I think this one is a little more lighthearted, but it's also my favorite since it has something to do with Steph Curry. Like if you remember that preseason game in 2014, like the year the Warriors won their first ring, like Steph shot a
hmm.
three in Kobe's face, and Kobe slapped him in the butt.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'll never forget that. And it pretty much shows how Kobe was like different from the rest because what sucks now? You have a lot of these boomer NBA legends who
Oh
just
man,
they just hate on the new generation, like Shaq in particular. And you'd think Shaq would be the last guy who'd hate on these stars because his co-star in Kobe would give praises. Of course, Kobe would give critiques, but they're constructive criticism and not.
oh, definitely constructive,
Oh
man.
yeah, dude, like Kobe, Iverson, those two were just so different from other boomers because while they would give constructive feedback, they never hate on the new generation. Unlike
Yeah,
the guys you see on TNT every day, like
Yeah, it's like okay, like now that you mention it, it's just so off-putting. Like
Oh
seeing
yeah,
that. Like I mean, Shaq's a funny guy, and he brought 3 championships to the Lakers as well. And I respect him, and he's a great guy. Not saying he's
yeah,
a bad person at
yeah, for
all,
sure.
right? It's just that it's just kind of off-putting or annoying that you see those weird comments, right?
Hmm.
Like I remember one. It was just last week when if you saw like Rudy Gobert got his contract
Yeah,
extension,
yeah.
and it's like and then Shaq just makes a side comment. He's like, "Wow, you're paying so much money for a guy to get 10 and 10,"
Hmm.
and then I'm like, "Bro, just let it be, man."
Yeah. Or dude, yesterday like Shaq was hating on Donovan Mitchell, like on live TV pa, like
Oh, I actually didn't catch that. Like
yeah.
what did he say?
He was like, "Oh, you're not good enough yet, or you can't take it to the next level." This is on live TV, dude. Like, come on.
Yeah, yeah. Oh well. I mean,
Yeah.
boomers.
And para sa mga boomer dyan na sinasabi na, "Oh, it's tough love and all." Not really. Not really, guys. You're just trying
No,
to brag about how much better your era was. Like, that's
no,
not
or
the
how
point.
how much you feel like your era was better.
Oh yeah,
Know what I mean?
for sure.
Because I feel like times have changed. Like,
Hmm.
of course, there's such a thing as like a generation gap, right?
Yeah.
There's such a thing as things changing between generations, and we respect that. We get that.
Oh
We
yeah.
understand that. But it's a two-way street. Like you gotta try also.
Hmm.
Like
For
you
sure.
can't just you can't just like say stuff like that anymore in this generation. That's why it's called a generation gap because we're in a different generation.
Hmm.
So
And
it's
we
like
have our
two-way
own
street.
struggles too, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that's why like that Kobe moment with Steph was special because you don't see that as much anymore. Like all you see every day are just boomer NBA legends hating on the younger generation. Like Kobe and AI, like they're just such a rare breed because they give their flowers and while they give good feedback, like they're not here to hate on the generation. They're here to just try to make the league a lot better than it once was
Yeah,
back then.
yeah. They're just trying to mold them with constructive criticism, right?
Yeah.
It's not stuff like why are you getting paid this much if you only get like this? What's constructive about that,
Oh
right?
yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. So yeah, that pretty much um we pretty much said a lot of stuff right there. We just went back memory lane a lot, and then there's so many
Yeah,
interjections in between. But again, for someone as iconic as Kobe, it's only fitting that we give y'all this very good feedback or very good stories, feel good stories, and all that. I think it's really fitting that on this first year death anniversary of Kobe, we continue celebrating the life that was for the Black Mamba, and of course his daughter and all the others that passed. And by the way, quick PSA to all those media outlets like ESPN and all that. Can you guys do us a favor and put Kobe back in the GOAT discussion? Like, I don't know why all of a sudden, it's funny, like, on the day he died, a lot of fans were like, "Oh, let's not hate anymore on these players. Let's appreciate them," and that's very accurate. It's very true. But the following weeks, we went back to our petty old ways of saying LeBron's better, Jordan's better. First of all, can you bring Kobe
man.
back to the GOAT discussion? And second, if ganun lang naman, can we actually not even have a GOAT discussion anymore? Like, can we just
Yeah,
appreciate greatness?
a- appreciate greatness. Okay, so I for one am such a supporter of that mindset, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, uh, I'm really that kind of guy that just pushes that support or appreciate greatness kind of mentality
Oh yeah, oh
because
yeah.
yeah, okay, Jordan had his moment, Magic and Bird had their moments, Kobe and let's say who else was
D
low key
Wade,
dominant?
D
Yeah,
Wade.
D Wade. Another person comes to mind who was very low key but also very dominant was Duncan, right?
Yeah, don't forget Dirk also.
Of course, Dirk, yeah, and just a lot of guys.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, I guess sometimes it's nice to engage in the goat debates
Yeah.
because like you're just trying to stimulate your mind. You're trying to converse with other people who have different opinions, and you're trying to state why you feel like your opinion is the right answer, right? Like I get that. I mean, it's normal. But I guess it comes to a point where it becomes very toxic also.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of people tend to just invalidate the achievements of another person or another player just because he doesn't have as much as another person. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
Like, uh, personally for me, like I am a diehard Lakers fan, but I was never a LeBron fan. But
Mm.
when he went to the Lakers, of course I'm gonna support him, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I guess it goes both ways also for you. Let's say, uh, like a lot of people like compare Curry also, right?
Yep.
Especially at his peak when he was just flaming everyone with a 3-pointer. My God, like
Yeah.
as a basketball fan, like I was like, is this man even human? He was like the
Mm-hmm.
human torch, right?
Yeah.
So it's I was just appreciating greatness. Like I was hella pissed. I was
Mm.
hella annoyed with the Warriors,
Yeah.
but I respected Wardell so much, right?
Yeah.
And it was crazy. And it's like I don't know. It's just I find it unfair to just invalidate the achievements of one person, um, just because they don't have as much or they
Mm-hmm.
don't have the same kind of accomplishments. Like you said, just appreciate greatness, man.
Oh yeah. And even though I'm not a huge LeBron fan, like LeBron the athlete, absolutely amazed at what he can do. LeBron the father, absolutely love him. LeBron the social justice warrior, of course, we all know about that. So, it's not really LeBron that I'm hating on. It's really his toxic fan base.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's really
Definitely.
the
Like
fan base because LeBron the player, like he's such a once in a generational talent. We know that. And the whole
yeah,
3-6 or no 4-6 now, like it's a dumb argument, dude. And I know
yeah,
half of those losses came at my Warriors, so I know why
yeah,
LeBron fans are hard pressed. But 9 finals trips, that's amazing.
yeah.
Even
And
if it's against the weak Eastern Conference, to do that every
dude,
year.
yeah. And funny that you mentioned. And yeah, I agree with you. It's like I didn't really hate the Warriors. I didn't hate Curry. I didn't hate Curry at all. It was really just a fan base. I feel you. Yeah. But like I said, just give and take, right?
Yeah,
It's part of life,
for
part of
sure, for
basketball.
sure. But yeah, for the record, even though like I'm not high on LeBron, like it's really just the fans, or not just the fans, but
Yeah, yeah.
but the media folks, like the fact that Shannon Sharp or
Yeah.
Nick Wright, like they'd be giving toxic stuff, and then you have the opposite, the complete opposite in Skip Bayless, or
Man,
Flight, you know.
I hate Skip Bayless so much. I hate Skip Bayless. But anyway, that's beside the point.
For sure, for sure. And that's why we have to just appreciate because hello guys, it's a new decade and you know what that means. Their time is gonna their time is almost running out. Like before you know it, LeBron's gonna retire. I know we say, oh, LeBron can play forever, but father time is always undefeated. So LeBron's time's gonna come up. I don't want to
Yeah,
admit this, but Steph's time is also about to end soon. Of course, we hope he has more years in the league. But as a Warrior fan, I really want Steph to have more years left. But his
yeah,
time is almost coming up or running out. KD.
true.
KD's time is also running out. And shout out to KD by the way, because did I mention how the Achilles is like the ultimate death sentence of NBA players? Yo, KD's been
Uh,
tearing it apart. Like he's been tearing the
oh yeah,
league. Uh, the numbers he's putting up lately, like whoever his surgeon was, you got to give him a max contract as well.
yeah, dude. Like, it's crazy. It's like he didn't even get injured. Like, I mean, looking back on it, like when Kobe ruptured his Achilles, yeah, he was still able to play.
Mm-hmm.
But man, KD just looks different. Like, it's
Oh
crazy.
yeah,
Like, I mean, Kobe was still able to play, and he did have his uh flashes of brilliance when he had like the old Kobe, like he'd score like 35 and
mm-hmm.
everything.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, like a lot of it, since it was like he was going downwards already in his career. He was chilling and everything. It was more of like just providing leadership also, and he'd still score a lot, but it wasn't like prime Kobe numbers, of course.
Oh yeah.
But it's like looking at Durant now, it's crazy. It's like he just took a 1 year break, like just the rest, and then he's just the same. He's
Yeah,
playing the same, man.
for sure. And that's why, I really believe that Clay is gonna have the same comeback too. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah,
obviously, like I'm still hella pissed that Clay suffered another rough injury, but seeing how KD's coming back, seeing how John Wall's coming back, like I feel like he's gonna come back stronger as well. So hopefully Clay does recover. Like we're gonna need him for one more ring this decade.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, wow, that was a very complete episode. Like we pretty much said it all. We said everything that we wanted to say. As Kobe
Yeah,
fans, Kobe haters, just fans of the sport, and
yeah,
it was so nice, like trying to reminisce and look back at uh, the life that was, and the basketball career that was for Kobe, and for his contemporaries. I guess before
yeah.
we officially wrap it up, I guess give me your roster. Like if you had a chance to be Kobe's GM, like who would you surround Kobe with? What would be your dream five or your dream roster or whatever that may be?
Hmm.
And who would your coach be, of course?
Okay, dream roster.
Yeah.
Um,
Like if you want to give Kobe more than just 5 rings, like who would your guys be? I guess it's hard to put a whole roster, but so I guess
oh yeah, yeah.
a starting five or four other guys to join Kobe in the starting five, and maybe a sixth
Okay,
man.
okay. That's actually very interesting. Okay. I just want to give like a disclaimer. This is more of like who I want to surround around Kobe because I like them.
Yeah.
Not because I feel like, not because I feel like, oh, this is the best. Uh, around this is the most coordinated team, or this is the team that will generate the best chemistry. This is just a personal thing as to like I like these people, right? And probably, of course, shooting guard is Kobe.
Yeah.
At point, I would honestly put your boy Steph at point
Sir.
guard. Like no cap, like respect, man. So I'd put Steph at point, Kobe at two,
Mhm.
and of course LeBron.
Yeah.
But also because I just wanted to see more of Kobe and LeBron play together. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
basketball fans were robbed of that experience
Yeah.
of Kobe going against LeBron
In the finals, right? Yeah.
in the finals. In the finals.
I wanted that
So
too.
yeah. So even if we may not get that, like I just want to see them play together and see how they play together as teammates, right?
Mhm.
At four, I would put Duncan
Mhm.
because he's just the big fundamental, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he's not flashy at all, but then you see his numbers and his numbers are monstrous, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Center, who would I put at center? I think I would have to go with, and this is a little more old school, but it's just based on the highlight videos and the clips that I would watch.
Yeah.
I would put Hakeem.
Ooh, yes. Yes.
Also because dude, his footwork, like his
Oh yeah.
it was the best. Like he was way ahead of his time,
Oh yeah.
right? And I feel like that would be really, really wild.
Mhm.
As a sixth man, what would I put as sixth man? You know what? Just off the top of my head, just an OG and one of the best sixth men out there, Jamal Crawford.
Yeah.
Just for just for wala lang. And then
Yeah.
coach,
You can say that.
coach. As much as I'd like to put Phil Jackson,
Mhm.
I would honestly want to put Pop.
Yeah. I think he'd be
Yeah.
a great coach as well for Kobe.
Yeah.
Like they're
So
both
yeah,
focused, no drama,
no drama,
same
no
same
BS,
wavelength. Yeah.
same wavelength, no
Oh yeah.
BS type of mentality. And I feel like, like them being on the same wavelength, Pop with his mentality and Kobe with a Mamba mentality.
Mhm.
I feel like they would go places.
Oh yeah.
Like just off the top of my head too. Like you see what Pop was able to develop within Kawhi, right?
Mhm.
Like just so random and it's not related to Kobe, but I just feel like uh, Kawhi, who he is now, was developed because of his being under Pop, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, so that's why I'd pick him as my coach.
Yeah, good names right there, dude. And yeah, I like how you put Hakeem because I remember in one of my earlier episodes, because I got to interview Diego Dario, by the way, for season one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I did put Hakeem in my Dream 5, and I was on record, and this may be a hot take, but I was on record saying Hakeem is better than Shaq. And I
Oh
still believe that to
yeah.
this day.
Dude. I mean, that's also coming from me, who's diehard Lakers, right? And Shaq gave us 3 championships.
Mm-hmm.
I have uh, I have no connection to Hakeem at all, right? But
Yeah.
and yet I agree with you. I honestly do.
Mm-hmm.
So Hakeem was just something else, and I wish I could have seen that growing up. But I
Oh, yeah.
just basing it all on everything that we watch on YouTube and
Mm-hmm.
everything that we see, everything that we read. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I agree with you.
And it's not just because Hakeem beat Shaq, but overall, when you put them one on one, like skill wise, Hakeem is
Skill,
more
yeah,
superior.
dude, way more superior skill wise. Like okay, Shaq, you can put him in the category of being the most dominant
Mm-hmm.
player. Like if you're just talking about pure dominance, right? But dominance does not equate to skill
Mm-hmm.
all the time. So yeah, Hakeem over Shaq, especially when it
Oh
comes to
yeah.
skills.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so now it's my turn to give my six plus Kobe and the coach. So
Yeah.
obviously, if I have a squad, golden rule: everyone has to shoot. If you're a non-shooter, you gotta get off my squad. So need to have great skill, great footwork, no ego, no drama whatsoever. So for obviously shooting guard Kobe because he's Kobe, but for my point guard, similar to you, I'm gonna have to go with Steph, Chef, like a Curry, man. Yep, I just have to say it, like it ain't
Look
complete
at Curry, man.
without the look at Curry, man. So Steph Curry is my point guard. Can you imagine though, Steph and Kobe? Like, can you imagine how much space, how much superior spacing that would be for Kobe to operate?
Exactly.
Like Kobe is
That's
hard
why I
to
picked him.
guard. He's hard to guard one on one. So can you imagine all that off-ball action? You have to worry about Steph, pa. Oh
Yeah,
my
and you have to worry
goodness.
about the guy who can shoot from the half court line with ease, right?
Hmm.
Imagine that spacing. That's insane.
Yes, that's for sure. So I have to go with Steph. And I'm gonna have to slide him because his natural position is the two, but Kobe's at the two. But he can guard the three guys sometimes. I'm gonna have to go with my boy Klay Thompson.
Hmm.
Uh, I did mention this in the earlier episode that I did with Diego. Like Steph and Klay, they're inseparable. You cannot separate the two.
You
And
cannot.
this doesn't mean Steph cannot carry a team without Klay because this season has proven he can do so. But you just can't separate the Splash Bros. You just can't.
Yeah, dude. Like just they're like this, man. They're like
Yeah,
this.
for sure. So that's Steph, Kobe, Klay. I'm just imagining the spacing already, bro. Like, my goodness.
That's gonna be so hard to guard on the perimeter, man.
And Clay's like a clamp god as well. So, wow.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Good luck. Good luck to all the teams that will have to go with Kobe and Clay, like two of the best perimeter defenders that we have. And if you notice, I'm kind of going positionless because I really base it on skill, and because the modern
Yeah, yeah.
NBA is like really no positions required. For my
Indeed.
for my power forward or my stretch four, I gotta go with my guy KD.
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously I miss KD. Hopefully he does come back to the Warriors, but I'm happy he's doing well in Brooklyn, even though they lost again. To the Cavs, but we gotta go with KD. Very versatile, very agile. He's too quick for your traditional power forward. He can do it all. He can shoot the three. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
four names. That's a whole lot of shooting right there.
Whole lot of spacing. Yeah,
Yeah.
indeed.
And for my five, similar to you, Gabe, I'm going with Akeem the Dream.
Yes, sir.
Even though he can't shoot the three, like his skill is just unparalleled.
Oh yeah. Dude, okay, but that's the thing. Like with the 5 that you gave, he doesn't even need to shoot the 3.
Oh yeah,
he can just massacre everyone in the low post.
Hmm.
He's gonna massacre them. So
Oh yeah.
it's fine. He doesn't need to shoot the three because the four that you gave, like they can all just shoot from half court.
Oh yeah, for sure. And the thing is, Hakeem actually trained Kobe in real life. Like I actually saw some old clips of
Yeah,
Hakeem like showing Kobe his moves. I mean,
yeah. The footwork.
it's no wonder Kobe
Yeah,
was so superior with the footwork.
dude, the footwork. All Hakeem, man. All
Oh
Hakeem.
yeah. Oh yeah. As far as my sixth man, and actually if you think about it, like this is actually similar to the five that I shared with Diego in the season one episode that I did with him. But
Uh huh.
for my sixth man, and he's not a true sixth man because he's also a starter back in his career. And he was actually one of Kobe's rival in the early 2000s. But I'm gonna have to go with my guy D Wade.
D
Yep,
Wade.
he's basically Kobe of the East.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, sayang he got traded. Like he could have actually had the same career as Kobe, staying in one team. Although he
Yeah.
did he did come back to the Heat naman a couple of years later. But
Yeah.
yeah, D Wade, gotta have him on my squad.
Definitely. And
Yeah.
for your coach?
For my coach, first of all, they're non-NBA coaches. Not because I don't like the NBA style, but because this guy has been so dominant, very dominant, whether it be in Europe, whether it be in New Zealand, or whether it be in the Philippines. So, spoiler alert, he is a
Baldwin.
Pinoy coach. Yes, I gotta
Tab
go with
Baldwin.
Anthony Tab Baldwin.
Yeah, yeah, I knew it when you were saying uh in Europe and New Zealand. Oh, Tab
Yep.
Baldwin.
And for those who think now, oh, Coach Tab can only thrive in an amateur league, like, dude, he brought New Zealand all the way to, I don't know, a gold medal game or something. But he brought New Zealand to greater heights back in his stint over there. And
Exactly.
he
And
turned around the Gilas program so much.
yeah, and he actually started in the bigger leagues before going to collegiate. So I don't
Yeah,
know what
yeah.
people are talking about. Like he already made his footprint
Hmm.
in the bigger leagues, in the international leagues.
Oh yeah,
And then he went down into collegiate. So I don't know what people are talking about, right?
yeah. And 16 and 0, right? So
16 and 0, man. Indeed.
that's all you have to. That's all you have to see right there. And
Exactly.
Coach Tab is actually he's the coach's version of Kobe. Like he's so particular with the details.
Oh yeah.
I know he hates ISO ball a lot, but the way he watches film, the way he dissects every play, like you can't go wrong with Coach Tab as your
Yeah.
coach.
It's a great pick, dude. Great pick. I did not expect that. Great pick.
Hmm. So yeah, those are just some of our fives right there, and I guess it's gonna cap it off. So, Gabe, do you have any final words? Well, obviously, before we wrap it up, thank you for being
Yeah.
here. Obviously, it was nice to reunite again after
Hmm.
so long. Although we were classmates naman in college, I think, for a
Yeah,
couple of
yeah.
subjects, but still been so long nonetheless. But
Yeah.
yeah, do you have any parting words before we wrap it up? Floor is now yours.
Yeah. I just wanted to like thank you, Jake. Like this is a really fun opportunity.
Oh
Like
yeah.
just to be able to sit back, relax, and talk about sports, talk about Kobe, talk about something we're both passionate about. So it's been great. It's been really fun, and I appreciate you like thinking of me as
Mhm.
who should I tap for the celebration of Kobe's 1 year death anniversary.
Oh yeah.
And it actually warms my heart when a lot of my friends think of me like instantly, like they
Mhm.
associate me with the Los Angeles Lakers.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like I'm sure like you get that feeling too. It's like when you're associated with the Dubs, right?
Oh yeah.
It's like people know, man. People know that I'm I am Dub Nation. That's how you feel, right?
Yeah.
And it's like nakakataba ng puso in a sense.
Oh yeah.
So
Definitely.
yeah, so I appreciate it. I appreciate you thinking of me for tapping me to be part of your podcast, and I really enjoyed.
Yeah, me too. And shout out to you though for referring me as a diehard Warriors fan because the common stereotype that I received back in the day was, oh, bandwagon lang to eh. Like
Well,
the only.
for me naman, I know you came from there, so
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
yeah, like you're actually from the city, right?
Hmm.
So that's why it doesn't register to me that like you're a bandwagoner. I guess it's more of like you just got into the wave of basketball
Yeah,
at
very
that
late.
point in time.
Hmm.
Yeah, like late at that point in time when the Warriors were just eating everybody alive, right?
And no,
But
I
I
was
mean,
I was a really huge Warrior fan since we believed ba.
oh yeah, since we believe
Yeah.
there, and I mean you're from there, so
Hmm.
of course,
Although I did admit, like early on, that I'm also a diehard Knicks fan, or my dad is like a diehard Knicks fan. So you
yeah,
know,
yeah, definitely.
I
I mean,
follow.
I I feel like that's fine, especially for people like let's say like us who we're not let's say residents of the city or the place,
Hmm.
and I don't know, and like at least for me, like a lot of my friends always have a team to support in the east and the west,
Oh
right?
yeah, for sure.
So it's like it's pretty normal, especially because we're not from there,
Hmm.
we're not currently residing there,
Hmm.
so yeah.
And yeah, like another fun fact, like it's such a shame I didn't include him in my squad, but I'm a huge fan of Mello.
Stay mellow, dude.
Huge fan of Mello.
Stay mellow.
Yep.
People forget, man. People forget. They forget.
Hmm. I just wish he has a ring though. It would be nice. Like
Yeah,
both him and
me
Iverson,
too.
like those are the legends that I want. That would have been uh, fitting, to win rings because they are legends in their own right.
Indeed.
Hmm.
Agree.
So yeah, thank you, Gabe, for hopping onto the show. And I guess my final thoughts on this episode is, for one, just continue living your life, guys. Like you saw naman last year how Kobe's death was so unpredictable, so untimely. You'd never imagine it to happen. And what makes it even chilling and a lot creepier was the day before, that was when LeBron passed him in the scoring list. And for these things to coincide is super duper scary.
Yeah.
So just live your life, but live it responsibly because we are still in the middle of a pandemic. So,
Yeah.
you know,
And
uh,
live it with Mamba mentality, right?
yes, Mamba mentality always. Always.
Yes,
Mamba
sir.
mentality, the marathon continues. Lagi.
Life goes on, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, live your life well, live it responsibly. Kahit may pandemya, like, you shouldn't be robbed of the things that you love doing. Even though we're a little bit restricted right now with the current setup, like, there's so many things you guys can end up doing. Just look at Kobe. Look at Kobe, man. Yeah. Just
Look
for
at
this,
Kobe, man.
just for this
Just for
one.
this episode.
Look
Look
at
at
Kobe.
Kobe, man.
So inspirational.
So inspirational.
Yep. But yeah, look at Kobe in all seriousness. Like, he ventured out on different fields. He did not just pigeonhole himself into basketball related stuff. Of course, he was there for his daughter. Like, he coached. And that's ironic too. Like, Kobe was actually coaching. And, people have a knock that Kobe was not the most coachable player. Like, he had his own
Yeah.
egos and stuff. And yet here he was coaching his own daughter. And he didn't just coach basketball, but he really coached women's basketball because it's not how people clown women's basketball, but Kobe was one of the few who really respected the grind that these female ballers had to show. So
Yeah.
he ventured into female coaching and into other fields like storytelling, script writing, how to take care of your money, etc., etc. And that's what this podcast is essentially all about. So for you guys out
Yeah.
there, the year is still young. There's a lot of opportunities left. So please, please do not let it go to waste. Time is so short, and we don't know like when we're gonna be taken away from this earth. So sa mga may gusto gumawa ng ganito na podcast or just want to do something on the side, just something enjoyable and worthwhile, and maybe even something that'll earn you some stuff, some big bucks. Just go for it, man. Like, really do what you love doing because you really never know, and never ever do it for the money. Of course, we need to support ourselves and all that, but if you do it for the cha-ching, like, you're not gonna enjoy what you're doing. So Just live your life, enjoy what you do, and you gotta put in the work, as Kobe would say. Mama
Yeah,
mentality includes being uncomfortable, doing the stuff you don't like doing, like the boring stuff, right? Like all the drills, all the
yeah,
practice, all the reps, all the test runs.
yeah,
But it's the little things that will make what you love doing like a success.
definitely.
Mhm.
I agree, dude. I agree. Well said.
So I guess that officially wraps up our show. But before we go, Gabe, do you have any last minute plugs? So where can my followers, where can my fans, and where can my haters follow you?
Yeah, no, I'm just on the go-to social media platforms. Just Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Yeah, at Gabe Santos. That's it.
Yeah.
If you wanna like engage in friendly trash talk.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Kidding, I'm
His
kidding. Yeah,
his account is down here for his IG and Twitter, I guess. We'll just double check na lang later. But if you want to follow me, if you want to participate in some trash talk of your own,
yeah.
for the pod account, it is at joat.pod.delro. So once again, it is at joat.pod.delro. For the personal account rather, it is at Jake_Delro. On Facebook naman, it is facebook.com/goat.pod.delro. Or if you want to search it on the search tab, it is Jake of all trades with Delro. This podcast can be streamed, televised, viewed, and listened to on the following platforms: Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor, Radio Public, Breaker, YouTube, and on Facebook Live. So we finally made it to the end of the EP. Can you believe it, dude? Or
I can't like it was just a really great hour of just conversation and stories and reminiscing. So
oh yeah, definitely. So thank
can't
you.
believe it went by so fast. But yeah,
I know, like as of my timer right now, it's like an hour and 20 minutes. And usually I promise like to go less, but this is such a great episode. Like there's so many things na maraming may pupulot na mga viewers. So we
yeah,
really wanted to make the most and just maximize our time here. So thank you,
yeah.
Gabe, for being here. Thank you to all my viewers. There were a lot of engagement. We gotta give shout outs. I totally forgot. Shout out to Mark Cruz, my high school classmate, for liking this. Shout out to Anton Alonte. I'm sure you know these guys as well.
Yeah, or batchmates, of
Yeah,
course.
shout out to my batchmates. Shout out to your parents, Shout out to Tita Portia and your dad.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
They're watching too.
they watch us too. Shout out. Of course, shout out to my mom as always. Wait, sino pa ba? Shout out to Paula Santos Monzon for checking this out. Shout out to Jackie and Julio Tixon. Like, I don't know who these guys are. Um, Shout out to Miggy Harabata. I'm sure you know him more than I do. Uh, Shout out to Clark, also one of our classmates, Clark Dino.
Oh yeah, Clark was also my classmate in high school.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, K-boy, K-boy, yeah.
Yeah, F 2015, F represent. Mark. What's up? So yeah, if I missed out on the shout out, please do message me. I will get back into that. And even though this stream is over, if you want to engage back on the live chat, please by all means do so. But with that out of the way, that's a wrap, y'all. Thank you for tuning in today, mga Del Bros, sisters, and all of Kobe Bryant stans, and all the Curry fans, all the LeBron stans, and all other fans of all 30 NBA teams and beyond. This has been your one and only JOAT. I am Delro, he is Gabe Santos, and we are both signing out. Hanggang sa susunod na usapan at chikahan. See ya, RP, Kobe, Gigi, and all the others involved in that horrific crash. May you guys rest in peace, and Mamba forever.
Mamba forever.
Bye, guys.